You look fantastic.
Don't you look fantastic? We're so glad you're here. We missed you yesterday.
No, I did arrive,
Yes.
but whatever happened, I didn't get to get through customs, get off the tarmac for a long time, and then that was it. So
Was the flight okay? Was everything
it was okay, but the rest was horrendous.
So Atlanta Airport slowed you down.
Who is our next person? Where is he? She?
I thought she was supposed to be in our panel as well, Martine. I think
Yes.
I thought so. Tomorrow? Did it get rearranged? Somebody? Because there was, I guess, a lot of people. What I was looking at had the both of us. And today is just like, well, I'm so. How have you been?
Okay, tell me about the show.
This show today, or what we're talking about, or
Oh, what are we talking about?
we can talk about whatever you want. I feel like it's just like a
Can
gentle.
we just talk about everything, anything, and whatever
Yes.
you like?
Yes.
So, let me say, I am Pauline Peart. I know many of you. I have seen many of you, and it's great to be here. And I'm going to let the fantastic.
Hello, I'm Madeline Brumby, also known as Guna of the Silver Spoon Spook Show. That's my fabulous attire today. So I'm so excited that I haven't actually had a chance to speak to you one-on-one. So we've been following each other for a couple of years now on the interwebs.
Yes,
It looks like you've had some really great times with all of the other beautiful ladies that you've worked with before, and I feel like you have such a good friendship with all of them too over the years.
I do. And
It's
with
so
you, even though it's long distance,
It's long distance,
but
it
it doesn't matter. And no, since I last saw you, I went back and I did Rise of a Vampire, which I have just finished.
Congratulations, that's exciting.
It should be out next October, November.
Wonderful.
And last weekend I finished Wrath of Thorn. Let's get this.
I was like, Wrath of God.
Wrath of Thorn, because last year I actually met Ian Coplison, who did Wrath of Thorn. So, no, Wrath of God.
We were all, whoa!
I'm still jet lagged. I think I should go to sleep and get up and try and start again.
No, it's okay. So we can keep this, as much as you want to talk or not. It's we just all love hearing from you. So
that's going to come out in January.
Okay.
And Witches in the Sand. So since I left you,
It's been very busy.
I haven't stopped.
That's
And
great.
people are blackmailing me like, say yes. And never say yes to anyone before you know what you're saying yes to, what you're committing yourself to.
Sage advice
Because
here.
last week I was in the bushes. There were more sheep than people.
And this is in England?
It's in England,
Uh-huh.
at a place called Milton Keynes.
Oh, yes.
And in this village, there's only 100 people that lives there.
So the sheep outnumber the people?
Exactly. And not only that, the church was a 14th century church.
Oh, wow.
Had no light, no toilets,
Oh,
no running water, and we had to shoot there. So you can imagine the rest. Just think about what is likely to happen with nettles and weeds and graveyards and dirt and hearing bah. And when you look around, there's a little thing who has lost his mother, and you go, oh my God. And one of the ladies was trying to do a pee, and then a sheep was beside her going, and so she didn't bother. The chap who went inside went in the bushes, and I shouldn't have to tell you the rest because he tried to, and then came back scratching.
Oh no, with nettles? Did he go with the nettles? Oh, no. Does everybody know what nettles are? Because this is something in England that's fair. I've walked through nettles. I lived in England for 6 years. But nettles, as soon as they touch your skin, it's an immediate reaction. It's not quite like poison ivy or poison oak. It like raises your skin instantly.
And you start scratching.
Yeah. And they have these like, you can eat them if you cook them.
Yes.
But if you touch them when they're like, they've got these like really
prickly stuff.
Yeah. But that's very common in England. I've not really come across nettles in the United States. So they probably are like, what?
Well,
that's what sheep are for.
Yeah, the sheep will eat them.
They love it.
Yeah. This is the continent of sheep.
They love it. And he came back saying, fellas, don't go out there. I'm suggesting you don't go out there. Take one of the bottles. Do this. Remember, we have to find your bucket. And he was at the same time. And then he had to get on set. And he says, I can't do this. You have to shoot around me.
Oh no! Oh,
we fell about laughing because it's an incredible church. It takes you a mile and a half to get to it for a start.
Wow.
So when you're driving, you're in potholes, you're in places where you think it cannot be a road. This is not possible.
Wow. When you were staying there, did you just stay in the village before heading out to the location for the church?
No, the nearest hotel and place is 40 miles.
Oh my goodness.
So once I left the hotel, I did the day shoot and did the night shoot and went back to the hotel, makeup, changed, hair, go back, and I was living on 3 hours sleep.
Oh my goodness.
You
were so tough.
You're like,
no.
No, I had to get back for Anthony. I had promised him.
I know.
And we were trying to get everything done.
Yeah.
So that was that. So let's talk. What would you like to talk about? You've heard my
Her very
escapades.
traumatic filming experience in the dark ages.
Mm-hmm. And I even ended up in a broom cupboard on Witches in the Sand, where I was a medium talking to the dead. I'm a nosy cow. I know everything that happens in the village, so I was called a bitch, and a witch, and I should be burned to the stake, and all this sort of things. And so I was at a pier, and it was dark, and so I was in the broom cupboard and screaming and bringing down all sorts of things. And this wonderful actor, blind as a bat like me, decided he's walking to come to me. And then he stepped over the edge of the pier.
Oh.
We heard, help! Come and get me out of here! So I got up, I started looking around, I called the director, he was there, the lighting man, and they're going, he's playing a joke. He's sending us up rotten. And then he went and looked over the pier. And there he was, down there. It was good the tide was out, because if it was me, I'd be drowned. So I wasn't going to go near there, but he was lucky. So they fetch him out. And now more time got taken up because he had to be cleaned up, new clothes to do the scene. So I have been having a great time. I've had to climb a tree. They practically drowned me at one point for not the world's greatest swimmer. And those suckers, instead of being here, they were over there, and I jumped off, and nobody was there to fetch me. So I went down and down, and I thought of glorious things. One more time for me to do this. Let me get through this and I'll be fine. One more time. And that's all I kept saying to myself when they drive me up. So I've had a great time.
Wow.
All in the name of filming. So, what have you all been doing? What have you seen? Where have you been since? And then you can ask us a question. And then I'm going to interrogate
Oh, yeah, sure.
Madeline.
Yes.
So, start with you first. What have you been doing?
Mostly working, actually.
Oh,
But this morning I read an article about you. It's a magazine that I bought about 6 years ago, and I was trying to look for it. I found it just against all odds yesterday. So, before the convention, the day before the convention, before yesterday. So this morning I read an interview with you in this magazine.
Oh,
from
Little
2018.
Shop of Horror. Oh my God.
Right. So
Let me...
it mentions some of your theater work, which I'm interested in. I've been to the theater twice in London. It's been a while since I've been. And so I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about these plays that you were in. Just a little bit. Let me see. Don't Tell the Wife. I like that title.
Don't Tell the
Birds
Wife.
of Paradise. And then lastly, most sex plays were British.
Okay. Well, you know the thing about lie there and think of England? Well, this is the reverse of no sex please, we're British. Okay? I was doing that with Michael Crawford and Simon Williams. He's a banker, and I got invited to the house. And having been invited to the house, he's also quite scared of spiders. So I'm supposed to...
In real life or in the
No,
movie?
just in the play.
Okay.
And
In the play, sorry.
the wife is there. She hasn't met us as yet. There are 2 or 3 of us, Sally Harrison and myself. And so he saw a spider, jumped up, ended up jumping on my shoulder. I started to run across. She came out and called Simon. Michael Crawford at the time now is on my back. And she wanted to know what the hell is going on, so I threw him off. He held onto a door up there. And I said something ridiculous like, I'm not having sex with you. And she said, what the hell did you just say? And so it was a comedy. And it ran for years and years in the West End. So that was that. So I was one of the 3 or 4 young ladies that were supposed to be visiting, and then that happened. And others were touching him up and things like that. So you can imagine.
I feel like, was this
the rest.
written by a banker?
No.
Was this a fantasy?
And the title alone kept it going, I think. I don't even think it was the artist as such. It was the title. And it's the same. Birds of Paradise was with Robert Coote, and I was in a sort of Hawaiian type outfit. The other ladies, one was a Russian, one was a Chinese, and the other was a beautiful little English rose. But he would do things to us on stage when we would be lounging and talking, and the Russian would be doing her high kick and talking about going back to being center stage and foot up there. And the Chinese would be doing this. Oh, I love this. I don't have to do anything. This is so good. And I'm lying there on my back going, oh, this is heaven. I think I won't go back to the islands. I will just stay here. And Robert Coote would come and shove his finger right in my belly button, and I'd jump up.
Whoa!
And Vanilla Fielding, as you know, you must have heard of Vanilla Fielding. She did a lot of the carry-on. She had this amazing voice, like a bit like Marlene Dietrich. And she would walk out and say, "Where are they from? Those people." And Cody would say, "Aren't they just beautiful, baby?" And she'd look at him, and it's a comedy. And it's another comedy. All the serious stuff is like Equus and that in the balcony. And Birds of Paradise was with Jack Douglas. And after we'd done about 2 years on that, he went on to the carry-on, and then I then joined him. So when I joined them, I knew him and Barbara Windsor, so it was like nice to be on the set with them. I didn't feel like an outsider. And so it was nice. You got any questions? Did that answer a lot of
Yes, thank you so
That's
much.
amazing. So what years were you, when did you do these plays in Boston?
Oh, during the 80s,
Uh-huh.
early 90s, because I was
You were floating between film and theater
and
a lot. Okay.
and stuff.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Very busy. Yes. Did you have a question? I saw it come up for
Oh,
a second.
talk about working with Christopher Lee.
Oh, I had met Christopher Lee at Gray Studios when Hammer used to have Gray Studios, and I was working out there on other films. And Roy said, "We're moving to Elstree Studios." And I had met Peter Cushing there. I had met Christopher Lee. My scenes, when they had moved over to Elstree, and I went there, and Don Hoyton had written this part for me. And while there, he said, "Let me catch up with Christopher, and so you can meet, have words with him. But your scenes, even though he's going to be in the dungeon, we're going to do you at a different time and shoot that." And Michael Coles was in it as well. He, our offset and all that, he's a wonderful man. He is very, very good to work with. He likes to say, "I don't need a mouthful of lines to have to say, 'Turn around, darling, I'm going to lunch.'" That sums it up with me lifting up her hair and coming from the back and caressing her a bit, then bite her. Why do I have to give her all this spiel first and then bite her? So he was into a lot of the action, the physical part of it. He was lovely to work with, nice man to know, and his wife was incredible. She was supportive.
Was she there on set often?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Peter Cushing would just say, "We have a scene. Can we run it? Can we talk?" Is there anything you'd like to know beforehand? And so they were wonderful to work with and know. And then he became so big, so amazing. So, plus he was tall. He was tall like you two. So there. And dynamic.
That's so sweet that they would, that Peter Cushing would check in with you before. That's a really nice courtesy that I don't feel like every actor gives another actor.
Well, at that period, we had 6 weeks to do the film. We didn't have the larger than large we don't mix with. We didn't have that time. 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and that's it. So with that, you work together, you work to get it done. And if you want to run your lines, you run your lines. And you know then that you can do 1, 2 takes. They didn't have a close-up, they didn't have 20, 30 takes and then close-up. The time wasn't there, plus the money wasn't there.
And you were shooting on film too,
And,
so you didn't
yeah.
have this
Well,
take after take after take.
lots of people had that.
Oh.
Nowadays they do it, but at that time they had a budget for that, and you had to know what you had to do and get it done. So.
Very neat. And you've worked with you've worked with Sean Connery too, and was that in Cuba or?
I did a film called Cuba with Sean and Denham Elliott and Jack Weston and Hector Gonzalez. It was set in Cuba, and then they had issues out there, so we had to go to a little place in Spain.
Oh.
And we used the casino out there and the sugarcane growth out there as well. So we couldn't go to Cuba. We were banned. Everyone was banned from traveling to Cuba. So all the scenes were actually in Spain somewhere or another country when they photographed that and superimpose it and all that. So, but he is absolutely amazing. He's, well, Martin will tell you all about him as James Bond, but he was incredible. He's a lovely, lovely person, and he was a friend.
Oh.
That was good too. So that's
you've had such a beautiful experience throughout your performative career. Do you have some films or plays that were particularly fun, or modeling experiences that were just favorites that you like to think about, talk about?
favorite.
Yeah. That's hard to do, but it's kind of fun to...
I had a great time when I came out here to do Bill Blass's clothes. I was at the theater.
Yeah.
And the first day, it was great. The second day, the dresser didn't put the clothes that I was supposed to wear where it should be. She moved it to the other end, and I had to go through this left stage door, and it was at the right. So he had a problem, and so I ended up having to wear the outfit twice. I didn't have time to change it. As you know, you don't have the luxury of being there. You just drop off, put on, and in the queue to go back out. So when I went out, I just wore the same dress.
It's so good, we're going to show it again.
Yes, and then by the time I went back, she moved it from right to left. I had gone to the wrong side again, because I'm trying to get that piece. It was a specific outfit, and he wanted that show. So and it was the last run on the catwalk, so I changed. I went over there and changed and waited until everyone finished, and then I walked out and said, "This is what it's all about." I didn't know what else I thought, well, I have to. This is what The whole show was also relating to this one piece. So I then decided I would say something.
Nice. Own it. Yeah, I love it.
So that was the best one. The rest were normal run.
Uh-huh. Just like, yeah, go ahead.
Another one of your co-stars on Satanic Rites was Joanna Lumley. Did you have any interactions with her? Anything you could share?
Apart from biting her, and I knew Joanna, so it was she was a friend, and so that was lovely to work with her actually, and lying there, and she said, "This is a bit weird." And I said, "It looks weird from even where I am. I'm looking downward." And I said, "Let's get it over and done with quickly." And we did. And it was it was a lovely scene. It worked so well for her too, because I had to bite her. And at least on that day, the Fangs stayed in. And so when I met her, the blood came out, and that was lovely. And she said, "No, I shan't wash it." I said, "That's what the fellas say. You shouldn't even say it." But no, she was an absolute lovely person to work with, and as you know, she went on to do.
Absolutely, yeah. I think, well, for me personally, I think probably for most of the people in the American audience, Absolutely Fabulous was the first thing we saw her in, and then realized that she was a Bond girl. And Absolutely Fabulous was just so funny because it was her making fun of
And then
the fashion industry and just, you know, aging actresses and everything. You know, she was just so great in that. And everything I'd seen, I was just wondering what she was like back in the '70s when she was still the Bond girl.
Well, do you know what? Most people, if you know them, and she was shy, she was like, we were all insecure, we were all from one job to the next job, and hoping that you get chosen for the parts, and then from Vampire she got the part in Purdy, we took over from Diana Rigg. So, and then everything, the doors opened even more for her. But Roy Stegson worked with her, and they loved it, and she was happy. And young people tend to be, including myself, because I'm beginning to sound ancient. You're so happy to be working at that period, and we didn't have much with the unions as such, and you don't get residuals, and Sean didn't for all the Bond pictures compared to the new Bonds. The carry-on actors got a flat fee, we got a flat fee, and it gets shown over and over and over, but we don't get anything from it because no artist did at that time. But as they grew and got bigger and Equity started to do something, it's a bit like SAG and the other here. They then start getting residual from repeats from the series they do, and not just a flat fee, £5,000, and that was it, or 10,000 for the whole thing, and that's it.
Wow.
So that's changed over there as well.
Yes, yes. So it was good to then have a union. What have you got there? You've got a little program you're looking at.
So I'm going to do, who's going to go next?
We've bored him.
Yes, no one is saying anything. Somebody else tell me what you have been doing. Make us feel like we belong here too.
It doesn't matter what you do. You could read the phone book. It's like to hear you talk.
It's true. You have such
Back in the
a
days,
beautiful voice to listen to.
When,
It's really
when was your
wonderful.
first film?
My first film is still in a can somewhere. Never been shown. Nobody ordered love.
Nobody ordered
What
love.
year was it?
Oh, I was about 18, 19, 60, 70, about 69, somewhere around there.
69, 70.
Yeah.
When you were working, you never even thought about residuals, did you? That didn't even come into your mind?
It was never mentioned by any other actors, no matter how famous they were, no matter what it was like. I'm doing this film, and Martine will tell you the same thing, because they didn't get it for the one picture she did. Sean didn't, because when I asked him, he said, no, it's just a flat fee. And they didn't get percentage of the film either. So it's later on that came about. And the early actors, it was all flat fees. And if they were lucky and they, like Elizabeth Taylor, they'd get $1 million for that, and that was it. So for whichever film she was, all the others. And
Yeah, I guess also they probably were not even imagining that people would be able to just buy a copy of this in the future, that it would be so readily available that you probably couldn't even predict that would have even happened with your films.
yes,
Because these things didn't exist.
no, and they were just ready to distribute them into various cinemas and make money back for the studios or the producers. And that was it. And then that money would then make the next film. And if they had any backers, it would be, you have 8 weeks. You have to find the location, you have to have the hair, the makeup, the dresses, the clothes. Sometimes you even had to bring your own clothes. And but they would have a makeup artist and that. And for Carry On, we hired the gowns for the actual beauty pageant. But the swimming trunks were each of our own. And we were told, make sure on the makeup scene in the dressing room, you wear white pants and bra. So we went and get 2-piece set in white, and who were wearing black or green brought in their own. And they shoot the scenes in the swimming trunks we had. So it was one of those things.
When did you break into acting? Where did you learn your craft?
Well, I had a nutcase teacher, Elizabeth Montgomery, and she thought I was always doing things. She said, come and join my drama class. And I can't do that. I can't even see from here to there. I'd fall down every time. And she says, that's why I like you. To the point. But anyway, I've already arranged for you to come and join. And I started. And she said, I have a friend who is doing equus, and I think he'll be bright. I said, you mean playing one of the horses? I said, she said, yes, but I think you can go and do it. And most of the time, they used to do shows where for 6 weeks or 8 weeks, they would do 2 or 3 or 4 plays. And it just so happened that that she was so awful, she sent me a place where Jack the Ripper was killing off all these women, and even at the stage door. And I, unfortunate, scared out of my life, had to go up there. And I did, the first play I did, Equus up there. And the week before, he had killed the lady just around the corner from the stage door, so about 12 feet around the corner. So the place they had put me up, I asked 4 or 5 of them in the cast to come and live there with me. And I said, you wouldn't have to pay. Don't pay. Just come and stay. There's a sitting room and there's 2 other bedrooms. Just come. And so we all ended up there. And that was good. That was when I remembered the play. I got there, I did it, I didn't think about it. I'm thinking, I've got to get home. I don't want to go outside. And they lived through that, and he actually murdered 12 women.
Oh my God.
Right in that area, and it was the first. And I said, I'm giving up acting. It's not as if I had done that much before. It was like my first time. And it sounds as if I was like a drama queen going, I'm not doing this anymore. My mother will not have a child. And when I got home and I went to her, I said, Elizabeth, may I call you Elizabeth at this point? Because what I'm going to say is so profound. That you will never speak to me again. And she said, I know exactly what you're going to say, Pauline Peart, so get out of my room. And that was the end of the conversation.
End of the friendship? Or
I love her to this day. She's in her 90s now.
Oh, wow.
And I still, if I have something to do and I'm not too sure, I call her and say, can I come and be a bother? And she said, okay.
Aww.
You still haven't grown up, have you? I said, I'm a woman with children. And she said, that doesn't mean anything. So I can never win with this woman. And so, yes, I still love her.
Oh, that's a great story.
But that's what happened to me at Chamberlain High.
Wow.
Any question?
Any thoughts from our audience?
Something you've seen that you liked, apart from his book. There, I am going to say one thing. Richard Kleinstein from Little Shop of Horror will be, he's not going to do any more. And I'm going to do his last magazine with the films I have just finished.
Oh, wow.
And Bruce Brenchel from here is going to do the interview to get the story and the pictures for it. And that would mean a lot to me. I think I'm looking forward to that because he has been a friend with his wife since they were at Bray Studios in London before they moved here. So, yes, that even Rise of the Vampire and Frankenstein, that you will hear. Sam Irving has just finished. I'm going back to do my scenes in it. And we had to wait until the young person becomes 18 because he's got a scene in it, and so we want to make sure. Yes, so his father will be there. So I'm looking forward to that, and then he will have it for his last magazine. And that the reason why he said he wanted you to is the fact that Satanic Rites was the last Dracula, even though they had 3 other scripts which are still there, never got to be made because Warner Brothers put a stop on that. Carry On Girls was the last Carry On. So, and it did so well, and amazingly, both films did so well, and even though they held it up for 2 or 3 years, when it came out, it did a lot, and they made a lot of money on it. So they thought, they'll help me. And now it's his magazine, and for him, I think I would go to the end of the earth for him and his wife. So yes, I've known them so long, it's like I've grown up as one of their children.
Oh.
So it matters. So I'm going to do that.
And we can look to see the films again, so October, November for one of these?
The others are coming out. I've got a couple posters there that I brought. I brought that for Anthony because he also does a charity, and I thought I would give it to him.
Yeah.
And he can then use it and I'll sign it. And the other artists will be here later on.
That's great.
So if you do that, and when it's out, it will be a new Dracula. And I gathered that there's going to be one made in Chicago by Miles John Dawson, and he's going to play a vampire, Dracula, in the vampire movie, and Sam Irvin is also going to be in it. So,
oh wow!
So that'll be interesting. So.
That's exciting. It's exciting that you're still getting to keep on going and play all these great roles still.
I was surprised. I think blackmail got me back. Say yes, P, say yes, please. And I said, what am I saying yes to? Well, I'll let you know in 2 weeks' time. In 2 weeks' time, I've got a script that's called Pockets of Superstitions by a director-writer called Tommy Lee Rutter. And I went, what's this? And he said, you said yes already. So you have to come down. And we went to a place in Coventry, you wouldn't believe. They call it the Spooky House. And things will crawl on you. You go to the toilet and you definitely don't want to use it because blood starts dripping down on you and you start thinking, is somebody up there dying? They killed somebody. And you touch the walls and blood comes out. So you just imagine it's night. And these things are happening with you. And you're thinking, this is not a joke. You'll be sitting there doing the science and the picture on the wall moves and the eyes move and you go. And you forget the scene, you're not filming anymore. You're worried. And this is exactly how the house was. I was told later on it was a house that, just after the First War, the man used to invite wanderers from off the street.
Oh, no.
And it didn't matter, men, women, children, he would kill them. And there was the saw and that, and they still had them in the building till now. No one lived in it, so they decided, after that, they decided to turn it into a museum.
Wow.
And it is still there till now. And trust Tommy Lee to decide he will be shooting in there. Wow. And do a science of all things in there. And things do tend to move. Even the curator of the building says he does not stay in there for long, unless someone else is there with him. He still thinks it's haunted. He's still hearing movements and it worries him. So he only stays at the front desk and he doesn't go into the rest of the building. So, and that's where pockets of superstitions, that's out. It will be coming to America shortly, I think, in October. It has been in Scotland and Ireland, and at Rumford Festival, Horror Festival, and seemed to be getting a following, and that was just like one showing of it. So it is quite lovely.
Well, I'm excited. I think we're all excited to see it. Does anybody else have any other questions? I think we're kind of at time here.
What is the meaning of life?
Oh, well, I think we'll sign off with Pauline's sage advice. Don't say yes to something you don't know you're saying yes to.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.